How deep is your love? What's going on? 6:44 a.m. Friday, November 24th. Today feel like, what does the day feel like? Today feels like a Monday or a Tuesday. You know, I am on the way to get some coffee. Yesterday, very, very interesting day. I did have a list, and I accomplished, just to start it off, I accomplished about 60% productivity yesterday. And I know you're wondering, well, how did you go from 80-something% the other day to 60-something%? Well, it doesn't count the game that I got yesterday in terms of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding on how I can approach a very interesting situation in my life. And so yesterday I spent time with a very good friend, very good advisor in the community where I am. And we got there, we were doing some work on his house, and he had a tree, had some trees he wanted to cut down and other things. And so we spent some time doing that, and that was good. Actually, I started the day off by going to my grandmother's house and cutting her hedges, serving her really, really well. That made me feel good. And then I went to the brother's house, and we did that. And at the end of everything, at the end of the day, I felt better in terms of how I can approach this situation that I find myself in concerning the mother of my son and that whole thing, and how I can approach it to have some success and really approach it in a way that can aid and abet my success instead of stifling it. So one more time, for all of the people that listen to this that are single parents, especially men, who play a role, who play a very apparent, visible role in your child's life, and you are separated, I definitely understand. I feel you, and I understand where you are right now. And I was thinking about that yesterday, and it was just me and it was just men. We was just talking and just kind of being honest. And it's really good to get together. So it's 2017 in November. So it just depends on when you find yourself listening to this, and if you meet the criteria of what I just said, then feel free to reach out to me. Would love to sit and just talk, discuss, and be men about the position that we find ourselves in this situation. So moving right along, I did that yesterday, and I got a lot of wisdom on just the approach, how it can be approached to one second. So that's how I spent my yesterday. I was over there for like 7 hours. I looked at my time. I was like, my goodness, man, I spent a whole lot of time over there, and it was good. I needed it. And it was good because like I was saying before, we shared. I was able to really get into really the meat and potatoes of the whole thing. And I just based on where I am and based on the level of success that I desire in my life, this is, it really had, and I was thinking about this also today, that I have been able to accomplish so much more. And so here's what I will say. Here's what I will say. If you find yourself in a situation, if it's a stagnant job situation, it's a stagnant relationship with the person, and this is how you know it's stagnant. If you're not able to accomplish your goals in a way and receive the support you need, in order to accomplish your goals, then it's stagnant. And you have to really think about what needs to be done in order for you in that situation to evolve, transform in some way, or transition, I should say, into something else so that you can move on with your life. This is one thing I've just in hindsight, that I see that's very important. Instead of trying, so to speak, in a stagnant situation, whether it be with an organization or with a person, what you should really do is try harder with yourself. Try harder with your dreams. Try harder to get what you desire in your life. And if you find yourself trying so hard with an organization or with a person to get the recognition that you deserve, to get the accolades that you deserve, to get the upgrades, so to speak, that you deserve, then you really have to take a second look to see, are you being taken advantage of? Or are you taking advantage of the situation and the opportunity? Once again, you have to take a second look sometimes to see whether or not you are the one that's in fact being taken advantage of, or if you're actually taking advantage of the opportunity. I say that because, like I said, I was in a stagnant situation for a long amount of time. And when I say a long amount of time, I'm talking over a decade. And there were great things that happened. And it just reached the point in the evolutionary process of the situation that it became the level at which I had achieved in that situation had maxed out. Now what's important to understand about what I'm talking about is only you will know if you've reached the outer limit to which you could grow in relationship to the organizations you find yourself a part of, the relationships you find yourself in. Only you will know if you've reached that outer limit, so to speak. The important part is to realize that you've reached it and then begin to make moves to unchain yourself, so to speak, so that you can begin to look for better opportunity. And I realize how much that I've been blessed, and I'm grateful because I have been blessed. I'm just thinking, like, I really have been blessed. And so what I will say is I've been blessed because I've been able to look on the inside to find that it's actually me. And I've been talking about this over the last few tapes, in terms of like how I have been able to achieve greatness in this very small amount of time, just in terms of my organization skills. And something as small as organization, this is not something that should slip, so to speak. It should actually get better with the right relationship, with the right person, in relationship to the right organization. You should be better as a person. Things should be better over time. It should be like wine, so to speak, that over time it just keeps getting better and better. So you have to ask yourself, is your relationship like wine? Okay? Or is it like vinegar? Okay? Now, vinegar is bitter. Okay? Vinegar is a I believe it's known as an astringent. It cleans the body out. Excuse me. And it also is known to be very acidic. Now you have to ask yourself, and this is for me too in the future when I receive this message from the past, that I will continue to make a very blessed and very informed decision in that present time to be evaluating whether or not I have more acidic relationships with people, or if I have more pH balanced relationships in my life. Because these relationships, they actually make or break me. And these relationships make or break you. And there is no need, ladies and gentlemen, to continue in a relationship, whether it's if you're at work right now listening to this and you hate your job, but you still go because you think that if you did not have that job, you would not have any money. Let's face it. It's not about the job. It's not about the money. It's about you and how much you value yourself. If you do not value yourself, other people will place a value on you, and you will be cursed to live out what other people think your value is. If you are in a car listening to this and you are on your way home and you are headed to a very toxic, very stressful environment that you call home. Let's face it, it's not about the house. It's not even about the person that you are going to go argue with. It's about you and how much you value yourself. If you believe you deserve harmonious relationship to the other person, then you would go and you would make sure that the person that you're with meets this criteria. If you do not believe that you should be at peace in your home, that nobody's worth stressing out over, then you will find yourself in a very toxic environment that will destroy you. Let me just make one thing clear. In order for you, and this is to me too, I'm speaking to myself. In order for you to continue to have the success that you've been able to achieve, then you need to maintain balanced relationship, harmonious relationship with people, especially women, and especially the special ones that are close to you. Have to maintain harmonious relationship. Well, what's the basis of harmonious relationship? It's a good question. And we'll get into it after these messages. So what is a harmonious relationship look like? What criteria do you use in order to create a harmonious relationship with someone? I'd like to define harmonious relationships as the following. I will state a few questions, and based on the answers to these questions, you will know whether or not you're in a harmonious relationship with someone or not. Question number 1. Place a mental image of this person, of your job, of whatever it is, whatever object it is, whatever it is. Place a mental image of that thing, of that person, of that place on your mind. How do you feel right now? If you're not happy, if it doesn't make you feel a level of happiness, then you're not in a harmonious relationship with that person, place, or thing. Question number 2. Do you think that there is some growth potential in your own life in relationship to that person, place, or thing? For example, Do you think that because you're in relationship with that person, place, or thing, that you will be more apt to have some success in your life in various ways? Do you think that you'll be able to, if you stay on that job, do you think you'll be able to have a promotion, for example? If you stay with that woman, do you think that you and her, that you all will be able to, that you all will be able to accomplish a certain level of success in your relationship, a certain level of peace, a certain level of understanding, be able to create a certain level of business, be able to have a certain level of success in general? If you're in that house that you got, do you think that there is some potential to make more money selling the house or being in the house if you stayed in it because of the value of the other properties around than it would be for you to leave? Okay? Think about it. Is there growth potential? And if you did not answer to the affirmative, my friend, in relationship to whatever that is, person, place, or thing, you may not be in harmonious relationship. Question number 3. How long have you been in relationship to it? To her, to him, at the job? How long have you been there? What have you learned about yourself since you started? Since y'all got into the relationship? Since you started working there? Since you've been in that house? Since you moved to this new place? Since you started with this new organization? What have you learned about yourself? Okay? And if you can't tell me that you've learned something about yourself in the last 30 days, my friend, my friend, you may not be in harmonious relationship to that person, place, thing. Okay? Last question. Are you the smartest, most intelligent person in that group, in relationship to that person, in relationship to that organization? And if you are, my friend, you may not be in harmonious relationship. Now, the thing about that last question is you might have strived to be the one that runs things. But what I'm talking about is really in relationship to, your level of success by being involved in that organization with that person, fill in the blank. So if you haven't been able to achieve a certain level of success that you've been wanting to, and I didn't mention what your goals are because that should be a given. And if you haven't been able to achieve your goals, now I used to be in a relationship where I used to move the date of when I decided to not be in a relationship because I just knew that there's just potential in the person. And I stayed in the relationship because I always thought that there was potential. Now, there's infinite potential in each of us. But we don't have, this is the unfortunate part about it, we don't have an infinite amount of time to realize it, okay? This is the trick, all right? That's the trick, all right? Everybody has infinite potential. Your job has an infinite potential. You, my friend, have an infinite potential. That house you're in has an infinite potential. But what's unfortunate about where you are and how finite you are is that you just do not have an infinite amount of time to realize it. So you have to have some kind of time frame that you do not let slip. Want to tell you that I love you. Want to tell you that I care about you. That I think of you. That you are on my mind even now. Sending you my love, sending you my prayers, sending you positive energy, good vibes. Because I know you're a champion. And everybody else around you knows it too. Because I know that you will achieve big things on this day. Because I know that you are blessed and highly favored. If you find, for whatever reason, that your head is hung low, do me this favor. Anytime my father caught me in that position, he would stop everything. He would look at me and he would say, son, raise your head. And I would add to that, you raising your head because you have greatness on the inside of you. That you have power, potential, that you are tapping into even now. That you are realizing more and more each day. Take a moment, think about your attitude. Think about your enthusiasm. Think about your poise. Can you use more of that? Could you use more? Spend time being a friend today. Spend time giving of yourself today. Because this world needs you. Until the next time we speak.